Hello, it's Randi Rhodes. Here's a clip from our show, and go to randyrhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.
Mary had a little man.
The fall. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream today. Change has come to America.
Believe me. Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show. Turn up your
About Barrett's association with a little-known Christian community called People of Praise have sparked intrigue. The Washington Post reports a 2010 directory lists Barrett as a, quote, handmaid, a title once reserved for women in leadership roles in the tight-knit group, but no longer used. The Post also disclosed that Barrett lived in the South Bend home of People of Praise's co-founder, Kevin Rannigan, during law school. The group embraces traditional gender roles, placing men above women. A spokesman tells CNN, Christian leadership in no way involves superiority or domination among spouses, but we have chosen to rely on male leadership at the highest level of our community based on our desire to be a family of families. A spokesperson for the group would not confirm Barrett's membership, and she hasn't spoken publicly about it. But she did disclose she served on the board of the Trinity Schools, an academic institution founded by People of Praise. CNN found several articles from the People of Praise magazine spotlighting Barrett's family in 2006 through 2012, but all of the references were removed from the website between January and June 2017, 1 month before Barrett's nomination to the Seventh Circuit was announced. Democrats plan to tread lightly on this issue.
I did not ask her anything, nor would I, about her religious beliefs or anything involved in groups that she belongs to. I don't think that's an appropriate topic.
I think it's an appropriate topic. The Democrats don't think it's an appropriate topic. Happy Monday, everybody. Happy Monday. I hope you had a restful weekend, because if as weird and as bizarre a world as last week was, plots against the Michigan governor, we're going to kidnap her, Donald Trump gets COVID, Donald Trump goes to the hospital, Chris Christie goes to the hospital, Chris Christie comes out of the hospital, Donald Trump declares himself immune. He says he's got a glow. I'd like a bubble around. But here we have the week that we've all been dreading, and this is the week that, let's just call her Coney B. I don't know what else to call it. I mean, the Amy Coney B. It's going to take too long. But here you have this cult member, and obviously she's a cult member. She's a handmaid. That is what her cult called her. That is what you get to be in this cult if you elevate yourself to a position of an elite woman, meaning you're a lawyer and you agree to train other lawyers in the belief system that the gospel is the law that America needs to follow. That, in a nutshell, is what this cult believes. The Bible is the law that governs America. No. But they don't believe in separation of church and state. They don't believe in freaking contraception. They don't. They don't believe in a separation between church and the state. They think that the Bible is the law by which all Americans need to submit. That is what this group is about, and no one wants to ask her, and nobody did ask her this morning. In fact, the only mention of any religion came from the Republicans, who had nothing to say about her bona fides, had nothing to say about her writings, had nothing to say about the fact that she doesn't believe in separation of church and state, had nothing to say about the fact that she believes and has taught other lawyers to believe that their positions as lawyers ought to be used in furtherance of making the Bible the law of America, replacing all the laws, replacing equality, replacing women's ability to be equal to men. They don't believe in this. They don't believe in it. She is part of the Alliance for Defending Freedom. They are a legal advocacy group. They question the so-called separation of church and state. Al Franken questioned her about this. I played you these clips a couple of days, probably the week before, because last week was just off the hook. But everybody understands, that she isn't she doesn't belong to a mainstream religion. Now, I want you to ask yourself the question. If she was part of a non-mainstream religion, let's say Satanism, don't you think that there's a legitimate reason to question her affiliation with they won't do it. The Democrats aren't going to do it. They're just going to highlight all of her writing, which probably makes more sense for them, but not for me. They're going to highlight her writings. Now, her writings say things like the ACA, that Judge Roberts contorted the law and contorted himself into upholding the Affordable Care Act, and things like precedent don't matter. She literally wrote that precedent doesn't matter. When she was being confirmed for the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals, she said, "I won't be in a position to overturn precedent because an appeals court can't overturn precedent, but the Supreme Court can." This is a whole different ballgame. So they're going to probably, today was just the opening statements. It was just the opening statements by members of the Judiciary Committee, and it was her opening statement. Her opening statement lasted all of 7 minutes, and it was nothing, it was a nothing burger. It was really nothing. But I want you to know that these Blackstone Group attorneys, the Federalist Society, Blackstone Group, ADF attorneys, Josh Hawley is one of them. There's a ton of them that have been, shoved into the judiciary by Mitch McConnell, when no one was looking. But they're gonna question her about the things that she wrote, okay, the things that she said in writing, the things that she wrote about contraception. She thinks it's disgusting and wrong that contraception is offered by insurance companies. She wants to inflict and infuse religion into insurance policies. I mean, this is just crazy. She told graduates of the Notre Dame Law School, quote, "Your legal career is but a means to an end, and that end is building the kingdom of God." She said that marriage and family are, quote, "founded on the indissoluble commitment of a man and a woman." She doesn't believe in equality. She doesn't believe that who you love is who you marry. She believes that she gets to choose who you marry, and if you fall in love with the wrong person, too bad for you. She also doesn't believe in Title IX. Title IX prohibits sex discrimination at schools that take federal money, which is just about every school. She doesn't believe in extending the protections of Title IX to transgender students. She said Congress did not intend that outcome when the law was passed in 1972. She is an originalist, which means that the framers, when they wrote the Constitution, in which they declared that the only real voters, the only people who were entitled to vote, would be white male landowners, were correct. She believes that. She has long opposed same-sex marriage. The group that she belongs to and lectures and, goes to, visit and train their lawyers, they have won 11 cases since 2011. You remember the Masterpiece Cake case? The Colorado baker who refused to bake a cake for a gay wedding, reception? Yeah, that was their case. That is who she is. That is what she's about. Now, I guess you could question her about these things without ever pointing out that she's a member of a very small charismatic cult. So good luck. Go to RandiRhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.